Yeah, we are ready to go. Cool.
Starting maybe like.
Starting? Sorry. So, who are you? What you got in here?
I'm Alex, so
Yeah.
I came here to basically show one of my simple sketches.
What is your unique talent?
Drawing, basically, of portraits.
3D self-portraits. Okay, that's pretty notable. Yeah. And so, can you communicate how you discovered your talent?
I mean, at a very young age, I always used to draw with my sister till eventually she became a tattoo artist. And she pretty much trained me, but the idea of art was just something I was always interested in. So it's like if I liked something, I always loved filling my sketchbooks and basically have that picture drawn by my own hand, or like my own version based on my imaginations. So I was around 7 when I discovered it.
7.
But yeah, I'm pretty much self-taught.
Yeah. How has that talent transmitted to other areas of your life? This could be sort of professionally or personally.
Well, it allowed me to express myself in like the most non-verbal way, drawing things which I couldn't really explain, or I really didn't have a word for. So often instead of communicating, I tend to draw them down on paper. And I would allow the person who's looking at my drawings to like see what they can take away.
This is the big dilemma, the big philosophical hitter. What is your meaning of life?
My meaning of life is pretty much make peace over friendships and relationships and families. So my way of life would be avoiding unnecessary people and unnecessary dramas.
So we shall begin. So what product do you intend to make exactly for your drawing?
I'm just gonna keep it to a simple pen and ink kind of portrait.
Pen and ink kind of portrait. Yeah. Please tell me about your style.
My style, well, to be honest, if I want to describe my style, I'd say I'm quite like different to other artists, because other artists usually tend to sketch something out and then they tend to like trace it all over. But whenever I'm doing something, I feel quite unconscious on what I'm doing. So it's like as soon as I put my pen on the paper, ideas start to like flow in.
Yeah.
Which makes me to like layer everything over each other. And instead of sketching it, I do it in lines. So
yeah. So do you think that sort of your subconscious is sort of just splattering everything all over the paper?
But there's a difference between an artist who just wants to get his work done and an artist who puts emotions and actual effort to show what certain topics about. So.
Yeah. So has there anyone that's actually inspired you? Like the piece you're going to make today, is there something like an event that happened today that you think, well, I know exactly what I'm going to draw because of this thing that happened today, and how does that maybe tie to the rest of your drawings?
Not really, but the thing about me is that whenever I start drawing, I tend to leave quite a bit of symbols on my drawings which represent me as a person, and that basically allows certain people to like relate to what I'm drawing.
Yeah.
And that's why I usually don't name my drawings, because I don't really explain them, because I'd like to know other people's opinions about it and what they can take away from it instead of knowing what's it about.
Okay, there's a lot of sort of implications of what you're drawing. You know, you don't want someone to say this is explicitly what it is.
Yeah.
I want you to interpret it how it is, and you know, maybe that could be quite personal. Then you'd say your drawings.
Yeah.
Are there any also issues when you're going to be doing this drawing that can sort of hinder while you're mid drawing?
Not really, and that's why I draw like this in lines and doodles and everything, and I make everything a living mess. So whenever, let's say, I missed a line, or if I was like unsatisfied with whatever, I can just make that messiness a form of style, as you can see in like some of my drawings. Like if you check some of my drawings, you can see that like basically like this entire thing is just a mess.
Yeah.
So-
As we can see here, it is sort of chaotic order. That's the term. And when I was looking at it, because we had a conversation and there was sort of like an exhibit of that drawing, there was this, I guess, this sort of realization that came to me that there was so many different elements that you miss out on because you're looking at it from just one depth of focus, yeah?
Yeah.
But then it's one of those sort of,
It's like you just drawn into it.
when you say drowning, that I guess that sort of that void and darkness.
Yeah.
I guess you could feel your sort of physical spirit sort of drawing.
I'd say it's often things doctors. I'd often say it's things doctors can't really see within a person, because it's
That's
like,
relating to that drawing.
yeah, because I'll be like, it's not a point getting experiences from someone who haven't been through what you've been through. So I paint it in a different image in order to like, it's like saying turn all the negativities into something positive in the most harmless way or unaffected way.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant, because you're definitely showing that sort of view from sort of the non-governing body point of view. What we usually say is like the municipal point of view, which is that like government view. But you want to show that community, that sense of
It's the sense of being like let's say the sense of being an outcast,
Yeah.
or ostracized, or
how do you actually ensure the stability of your projects? And like, say if there's an aspect of it that could be missing, how will you potentially recover from this? Do you have a plan?
Again, not really.
Okay.
But what I do with my drawings is that before I draw something, I leave a gap for another thing. So let's say if I mess this up, I'm gonna draw something that it's gonna relate to what I missed. So it kind of represents the after cause of what I do.
Yeah. And are there any areas of life that you can improve on, and how can you sort of translate that to your talents? Like, because it is quite personal when you have that drawing.
Yeah.
So whenever you say improve in a portion of your life, I guess art in a way sort of expresses that for you.
Yeah.
Would you not say?
To me, it's like a way of letting it out in like the most non-verbal way, where your problems and everything just shows itself
Yeah.
in a simple form of drawing. So
this is the end part of it all. How did you think you did in the project?
Like in general, or this one?
This one, this piece here.
I'm happy with it, to be honest.
Really happy with it.
Yeah.
Please tell us.
It's the idea of peace within eyes.
Peace within eyes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it's basically like being able to predict the future and basically see what means the most to you happening in the future. So
Wow.
that's why I drew the eye under the palm tree. And as I said in the beginning, palm tree represents peace.
And finally, to I guess meet Anne's eye. Would you do this all again?
I wouldn't mind, yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the topic, yeah.
Depending on the topic. Okay. Well, next time we'll get you to under the table. So.
Well, yeah, I feel like it'd be better if, like, let's say you guys had like a certain topic, and the drawing must have like represented the topic in your own ways. I feel like that'd be like a kind of, it'll be like a good thing to have.
Okay, that's a great thing.
Yeah, where like, because like, to be honest, in artist life, it's not really about what they want. It's mostly about the clients.
Yes.
So next time, I feel like it'd be better if you set like certain tasks for them to be able to meet and to be able to like satisfy you and for you to like describe it and maybe say what it means to you.